What's up out there, everybody? In this video, I want to talk about the importance of teaching the youth to keep their sex drives under control. That's what I want to talk about. First, I know when I talk to a lot of dudes, a lot of times they say, well, sex is natural. You know, you're trying to tell somebody to not do something that's natural. You know, you denying them, you telling them to go against their nature. We would agree that a sex drive is natural, just like an appetite for food is natural. We have sexual appetites too. Both of these things are natural, but I think we can agree that just because something's natural don't mean it don't need to be in control. And if it's not in control, problems can happen. Just like food, if your appetite is out of control, it can cause problems. It can cause health problems. It can cause, you can eat junk food. So, it being natural is one thing, but just because it's natural, don't mean it don't need to be under control. And if it's not under control, or if it's misused or abused, you're going to have some problems. Problems will happen. That's that. And I think a lot of times, it's easier to identify a female having consequences for not having their sex drives under control, and a lot of times it's overlooked, the consequences of a male having a sex drive that's not under control. So I want to talk about some of those things. First and foremost, look, ain't no getting around whether you're a male or a female. Sex is an emotional act. Straight up, it is what it is. That's what it's meant for. It's meant for bonding and procreation. So there's no getting around. Okay, let's have real talk right quick. I talk to a lot of dudes who say, you know, they might have been with this woman, they might have been with that woman, and a lot of them say, right after the sex act was over, like right after they climaxed, they regretted it. They was laying in the bed like, man, this is stupid, man, you should never even came here. Man, you know, man, let me text my friend and tell him to call me so I can have an excuse to leave. You try to find a way to get away, that's because you was abusing the act. You wasn't there for no emotional bond. You probably didn't really have no feelings towards this woman. And see, that's nature telling on you right there. See, it's natural for it to be an emotional bond and connection. And since you wasn't doing it for the natural reason, that's why you feel some type of way afterwards. See, that lets you know that it was a misuse of it at that time. Now that's real talk. And a lot of fellas out there know what I'm talking about, because a lot of fellas see they had that feeling after having sex. It was just because of a misuse of it. It wasn't in its proper perspective. It was just being used to get some type of feeling or some type of pleasure, and that was it. And that's why you're trying to get away from the person, to be like, I don't want to have nothing to do with this person, or might not call that person again until you're ready to just have a feeling and not have an emotional bond or connection. What the act was really meant for in the first place. You feel what I'm saying? Another thing that I wanted to talk about was that when you finally decide that you want to be faithful, you specifically now speaking in general, you're not going to be able to just flip the off switch and say, I'm done now. You're not going to be able to do that. So while them kids haven't done nothing yet, don't have no experience, tell them the right way. Tell them about finding one, settling down. Why should this emotional act be done with any old body? Even as a male, I'm going to say it again, proof is not supposed to be done with any old body, because when you did it with any old body, you felt horrible afterwards. You didn't even feel like being around the person. Is that what that act supposed to make you really feel like? Of course not. And then you're not going to be able to turn that switch off, and you're going to just try to feed your pleasure by any means necessary. Whether it's objectifying somebody through porn until you can get a real person, hopping from real person to real person. You're going to get your heart broke once you get emotionally invested, and you can't be faithful in your relationship, and you're going to break somebody's heart who was emotionally invested in you, who you was never emotionally invested in the first place, and that cycle just going to continue and continue. Kids going to happen with people that you didn't want to have kids with. You're going to have child support, you're going to have a baby daddy, you're going to have a baby mama, and that kid going to grow up probably with a part-time father, or no father at all. That girl going to grow up with no father or a part-time father, and they gonna hook up, and the cycle gonna continue and continue and continue. Ain't nothing gonna change until something changes. That's just the fact of the matter. So tell them kids early, find one person, marry them, because that's what it's for. It's for marriage. God put it in us. He knows what he didn't put it in us and say, oh, I made a mistake and gave that dude or that girl a sex drive. That's my fault on that one. No. He put it in us for a specific purpose. It's for coming together. It's for unity, of oneness. You become one with that person when you have sex with them. And it's for procreation. And should you be running around becoming one with every other? No. That's just like you being in a relationship and then another person gets to be in there. And another person, no. That's not what it's for. It's for a man and woman in marriage coming together as one and procreating. Teaching them kids the right way. You gotta think about it as a whole. Another consequence of males having sex out of order or misusing and abusing sex, it affects your ability to be a man, to do man up type of stuff. Like a lot of people watching this video, or even if it's not you, you know somebody who said that their daddy wasn't a real man. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. He probably had an out of control sex drive, or he probably was misusing or abusing sex. And it hindered his ability to be in your life or somebody else you know life. Or he might have been there, or he might have been there some of the time. And some of the time he go by his other baby mama and spend time with them. It created a void in your life. It all started with him probably as a kid, never being taught the right way or being taught wrong. Because if you ain't been taught at all, it's still going to get misused because it's something natural, and if you have this natural thing in you and you never been taught how it's supposed to go, eventually you're going to misuse it. So it needs to be taught the right way, which is through marriage, one man, one woman. That's how that's supposed to go. But it's going to create a man, even if he wants to, he's not going to be capable of fully doing what a man needs to do. But somebody will want their daddy to do. Respect their mama, don't cheat on their mama, take care of them, be there for them. You have out of control sex drive is going to hinder your ability to do that. It's going to hinder your ability to be faithful. That's that. So, these innocent, precious kids who lack experience in sex, who don't really know it, teach them the right way so they can have a jump in the game early. Especially if you're somebody who know the consequences of messing with this man or that man or having multiple sex partners. School them early so they can avoid that. Give them a head start. Just like we wish somebody would have gave us a head start about things and like whether it's sex or whatever it is. Help the kids out. Don't tell them that. Society, say you're a punk if you ain't having sex when you finally a man when you have sex, but the opposite thing happens, it hinders you from actually being able to be the type of man that you need to be or you would want your daddy to be. So it's backwards. And the cycle gonna keep continuing, especially everybody got some type of influence. You don't have to be famous. You can be a big brother, you can be a cousin, you can be a daddy, you can be a coach, you can be a teacher, you can be the dude in your neighborhood who play quarterback for the little kids, or you can have fame. And when you have fame, yes, you have a broader platform, so a bunch of people are hearing what you got to say. But whatever your platform may be, whatever reach you have some type of influence. And them little boys and them little kids that you are reaching and telling them to have sex early, to watch porn and do stuff like that, they gotta grow up. And you know who they gonna have to date? Your daughters, your family members. Your cousin's kids, your sister kids, and they gonna hook up with them, and another cycle gonna continue. Fatherlessness, unfaithfulness, and we know a lot of effects of fatherlessness. That's why a lot of dudes end up in jail. A lot of it starts from the sex drive not being under control. Because if it was being done the way that it was supposed to be done, in marriage with your spouse, one baby mama, one baby daddy, with each other, have kids, boom, all that, you'll be taking care of yours, you won't be having to take care of nobody. If it was done the right way, a lot of this stuff can end. And there's a difference between not being taught the right way, doing it the wrong way, learning from it and saying, you know what, learn from my mistakes, I'm going to teach the youth better. But there's a whole nother level to know the consequences of it, know the hardships from it, know the heartbreaks you caused, know the heartbreaks that happened to you, then go back and tell a little person, yeah, man, go do the same thing. It's about to create another cycle. And nothing's going to change until something changes. That's just straight up. That's just how it is. Let them innocent, precious little kids who don't have experience in this act be innocent, precious little kids. Tell them the right way to go about doing it. Talk to them about the consequences of not doing it the right way. And what if your son, when he got to be 16, or your daughter, when she turned 16, say, Mom, Dad, or whatever, let's talk. Put his daddy to the side and say, you know, I was thinking about relationships and stuff like that. Now, I think I'm just going to wait a little while, and I'm going to try to find that one. And, you know, I'm just going to be with her. You know, I'm going to get married, and then I'm going to have sex and have kids. You know, I'm just going to do it like that. I mean, what you going to tell them? No. Everybody, who gonna be mad at that? Whether it's a boy or a girl. Well, of course, everybody gonna be happy when it's a girl. But like, it's not supposed to go like that for dudes or something. Like a irresponsible man isn't a big issue in the society that we live in, which out of control sex drive, he helps create an irresponsible man. But what you gonna tell your 16-year-old son? That wouldn't sound like a good idea to you? If so, just tell him that right now. You know what I mean? Just let him know what's up. I mean, I'm sure you wouldn't be disappointed if he came at you and said that. Bro, it's just so much stuff, bro. TV, music, everything telling you to do the opposite of what's supposed to be done. Come on, man, look at what's really happening as a result of this stuff. Forget what somebody's saying is cool. Forget about your experiences. Look at the consequences of doing things a certain way. That tells you, you know. If they got some youth out here watching it, some teenager, yeah, somebody like, you a punk, you this, man, whatever. Talk to somebody who done been around and listen to the consequences of their actions. That tells you the truth. A lot of people brainwashed anyway by what other people do or what the media tell them or what music or whatever tell them, man. Have your own mind. Wait till marriage, then have sex. Yes, it is possible.